11 upgrades.
5 weeks of preparation.
Months of simulator work.
And Ferrari finished behind McLaren for the first time this season.
Now Hamilton has ditched the simulator entirely.
Leclerc is demanding answers. And McLaren and Mercedes are both bringing more upgrades to Canada. Here is exactly what went wrong at Ferrari in Miami, and why Canada could be their most important race of the season.
Part 1. What Ferrari brought to Miami and the anatomy of a setback.
So Ferrari didn't just bring a few minor tweaks to Florida. No, they brought 11 total upgrades to Miami. That's actually the most of any team on the entire grid. I mean, the expectations coming into this weekend, they were absolutely massive. Maranello had 5 full weeks away from the circuit just to prepare for this specific moment. Everyone in the paddock knew they were launching a huge counter-offensive. We're talking about a completely new floor, a brand new diffuser, and a heavily revised Macarena rear wing. Effectively, this was a brand new race car. And the target for this massive package was crystal clear. Ferrari built this to challenge Mercedes for victories from Miami onwards.
Now, the absolute centerpiece of this aggressive package, that would be the Macarena rear wing. For you casual fans watching, let's break down the mechanics really quickly. It's basically a marvel of flexible aerodynamics, designed to do 2 totally opposing things at exactly the same time. On those long straights, the wing flexes to shed drag. That boosts top speed. But the moment the driver hits the brakes and turns into a corner, it stiffens right up. That increases downforce, absolutely glooming the car to the track. It's a highly complex, critical piece of engineering, and it was supposed to give Ferrari the ultimate edge against the rest of the pack.
And right out of the gate, it looked completely flawless. In Free Practice 1, Charles Leclerc put that upgraded Ferrari right at the very top of the timing sheets. He beat the entire field by an impressive 0.3 of a second. The garage was thrilled because the upgrades appeared to be doing exactly what the wind tunnel promised. But, well, here's the brutal reality of Formula 1. That Friday session, that was Ferrari's only P1 of the entire weekend. The pace completely vanished after that single practice hour. It literally just evaporated. So where exactly did all that promised speed go?
Part 2. What happened on track? The harsh reality.
When the points were actually on the line, the reality was just staggering. The gap between expectation and execution was massive. In the short sprint race, Leclerc managed to take P3, while Lewis Hamilton came home in P6. But the main Grand Prix, it was a disaster. Leclerc crossed the finish line in 5th place, but then he was handed a heavy 20-second penalty for track cutting, which officially dropped him down to 8th. Lewis Hamilton finished in 6th. The math here is brutal. Ferrari was completely pushed off the podium for the very first time in the 2026 season. And meanwhile, their closest rivals capitalized perfectly. McLaren took P2 and P3, and Mercedes won the race entirely.
Now, to be completely fair to the data, we really have to look at Lewis Hamilton's circumstances. On lap 1, he was involved in a harsh collision with Franco Colapinto. That contact resulted in severe front wing damage, meaning Hamilton drove the entire rest of the Grand Prix heavily compromised. Think about it like this. Front wing downforce is the aerodynamic pressure that physically pushes the front tires down into the track's surface. It provides that crucial grip and balance a driver desperately needs to steer through high-speed corners. Losing that downforce completely alters the car's fundamental grip. Imagine wrestling a high-performance machine at 200 miles per hour with practically zero front-end bite. Hamilton literally fought a broken car from the very first lap.
But the struggles weren't just limited to a damaged car. On the penultimate lap of the race, while fighting incredibly hard for 4th place, Charles Leclerc completely spun his Ferrari. He just lost the rear end. That single mistake cost the team a much higher points finish, capping off an incredibly difficult weekend for the Scuderia. You have Hamilton fighting a broken car and Leclerc fighting just to keep a healthy car pointing straight. Both champions wrestled with a machine that absolutely refused to cooperate when pushed to the limit, which raises a massive question. Does this point to a fundamental issue with the SF26's overall drivability?
Subscribe to PitCrew TV, covering every Ferrari development through Canada and beyond.
Part 3. Hamilton ditches the simulator and the data disconnect.
Following the sheer disappointment in Miami, Hamilton made a radical decision regarding his race routine. He stated, quote, "I'm not going to go on the simulator between now and the next race. I'll still go and hold meetings at the factory and stuff, but I'm just going to back away from it for a little bit," end quote. He is literally walking away from the virtual testing entirely. For a 7-time world champion to abandon such a core piece of modern race preparation, that is a massive statement. And he backed it up with a clear fact. His best performance of the entire season so far, that podium finish in China, involved almost zero simulator work beforehand.
It really all comes down to simulator correlation.
In modern Formula One, teams rely heavily on virtual simulators to test setups before they ever even arrive at the track. If the simulation has good correlation, it means the virtual car behaves exactly like the real car on the asphalt. The engineers can actually trust the numbers. But if that correlation fails, the data is useless. Actually, scratch that. It's worse than useless. It sends the drivers and engineers in the completely wrong setup direction before the weekend even begins. They start Friday practice already on the back foot. It's obvious Hamilton has clearly lost trust in what Morello's virtual data is telling him.
And this creates a huge divide inside the Ferrari garage. On one hand, Hamilton claims the simulator correlation data is just wrong, resulting in a poorly balanced car. But Charles Leclerc is saying the exact opposite. Leclerc stated that the new upgrades actually worked exactly as expected. According to his side of the garage, the real problem is that rivals McLaren and Mercedes improved at the exact same rate, which canceled out Ferrari's hard-fought gains. So look at this. You have two drivers, the exact same car, and two entirely different explanations for their lack of pace. The internal pressure is boiling over. So who is right?
Part 4. What Canada means for Ferrari. Montreal, May 22nd to 24th.
The development war on the grid is not slowing down, it's accelerating. And the Canadian Grand Prix at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is shaping up to be a massive inflection point. McLaren has already confirmed they are bringing yet another upgrade package to Montreal. Mercedes? They've confirmed they're bringing their biggest single upgrade package of the entire season, a package they deliberately held back from Miami. And Ferrari? Well, their upgrade status for Canada remains completely unclear. This is highly concerning, especially since Hamilton confirmed Ferrari is currently losing 3 to 4 tenths of a second on straight-line speed alone. Canada is defined by its long, punishing straights. That straight-line speed problem is not fixed yet, and if they don't find a solution, their rivals will absolutely exploit it.
The external and internal pressure is mounting to a fever pitch right now. Sky Sports' Karun Chandak noted the shifting momentum perfectly, stating, quote, "There should be a little bit of concern at Maranello and Ferrari. And Charles Leclerc, he has drawn a firm line in the sand. He publicly stated that every single future upgrade Ferrari brings must correlate perfectly between the simulation and the physical track. There is just no more margin for error. If the factory data doesn't match the reality on the asphalt, Ferrari risks falling completely out of the championship fight."
Canada is 13 days away, and Ferrari need answers before the lights go out in Montreal. Do you think Ferrari can turn it around in Canada, or is this the start of a bigger problem? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you want F1 content that gets straight to the point, subscribe to PitCrew TV. The 2026 season continues now.